Thatchers Farm. Slightly obsessed perfectionists making cider with nothing but love. As you do.
Thatchers is the sort of Bristol cider, so being from South Bristol, I was really excited to be on this project. I've visited Myrtle Farm several times. We really wanted to craft the perfect representation of Myrtle Farm, so it was important to us to research it. I love getting my hands dirty with a bit of stop motion. I really love getting back to how I really got into animation in the first place, which was making models, making puppets, building sets. I think often my role as a director is to take the script and start thinking about the structure of it. Always start with sketches and drawings, and then they go to a timed board usually. We fill that in with a few more panels to give us a bit more of a sense of movement, and we call that an animatic. Then we understand how long our shots are, what the kind of key staging elements are, the key props, the key puppets.
With this project, we're trying to make things as realistic as possible, but also find a happy medium where it still has Aardman's wonderful stamp of, stop motion, claymation, So when I came to the project, there was already a huge archive. So there was hundreds and hundreds of photographs of Myrtle Farm from various site visits. But then it's also really important to just get eyes on it.
You always find yourself sort of caricaturing just a little bit, because if you just sculpted a person as they are, when it's that big, it's not going to look like, it's not going to look and feel like them anyway. So you have to pull things around a little bit just to get a bit of the person's character in there. Under the skin, people don't realise that they've actually got a framework underneath there called an armature, which is basically the skeleton of the puppet, which allows the animator to make really fine movements.
Here comes the man himself, Martin Thatcher. Friday, 12:30, tasting time.
I realised that I should have asked for a younger, less grey and better looking puppet of me, but I got this one instead. I love his jacket, it almost matches my look. Having lived in Sanford all my life, of course we're aware of the amazing job that Aardman do with all the things that they've produced. But until you actually work with them, you cannot possibly appreciate the amount of detail they go to make everything in minute detail absolutely perfect.
The challenges of animating a real event like tasting time is that this commercial is only 30, 40 seconds long. We wanted to have all the puppets build up tension and excitement. You don't want anyone to move at the same time or stop at the same time. It needs to have a sense of organic chaos.
Why grow 8 varieties of apple when you can grow 458?
Yeah, the periodic tables, it's actually real. We made this about 7 or 8 years ago, which allows us to talk to people about the apples that we use, with all the eating apples on this side, and on this side we have the more traditional cider apples.
Scale is so important. So here's a real apple. This is one of our hero apples that needs to be very, very close to camera. But then as you get a little farther away, if you're in a middle distance shot, then those are going to look huge. They're going to look like, beach balls. So that we literally had to make hundreds of these small apples.
They've got the lovely rosy red skin on one side, and the other side of the apple has a little green flush where it's not caught the sun quite so much. So I think they've done a marvellous job of making an apple that would be good enough to make Thatcher's Katie if it was a bit bigger.
Yes! And that's why Thatcher's cider tastes the way it does. Perfect.